Hello, Libra. February energies are here. Let's have an aligned astro chat about it. Shalom all, Stacy the Black Feather Intuitive, and welcome to your Transformational Tarot for February for Libra. This is for Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and also for anyone who has a Libra in their life that they love. Can't wait to tune in and see what the energies are going to be doing for you guys. So we are going to be pulling an overarching theme from the 22 Archangels deck from Kyle Gray. And the deck that called to me for you guys today is the Stellar Vault Tarot. This is Omre Hofstadter. So without further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so let's dive in and see what these energies are going to do for you. Collectively, I feel still a kind of a sense of heaviness, some foreboding energy, but on an individual level, I'm feeling like there's a lot that we're going to be able to kind of, I want to say, work through. We're going to be able to make use of. So let's see what happens with you. Oh, I love this. Raphael, heart of devotion. Let the cup of your heart be filled through commitment and dedication. Loving this, Libra. So this is a month that is really saying, what is it that I'm choosing to commit to? What is it that I'm choosing to invest my time and my energy to? And I feel like the investment of your time and your energy and the evaluation of that, and then, committing to that, making the choice to that is really important. Here's why. I'm feeling like February is a month where you're going to be establishing some new routines, some new schedules that are going to really support how you're moving forward. I feel like there's going to be a pretty big vision, a pretty big aha moment, or a moment of clarity for you in this month, in February. And if you have not kind of done the work to get some, I want to say, a schedule that you feel comfortable with. And that also includes like a rest schedule, where you're resting as well as where you're playing, as well as where you're working. What's going to transpire is there's going to be this sense of extreme overwhelm and a tendency to say no to the opportunities that are going to present themselves towards the end of the month and into March. So you really want to be paying attention to what you are committing yourself to. And, I also would say this is a month to not overcommit, and if you don't know what to say yes and what to say no to, I feel like it is the heart of devotion. Let the cup of your heart be filled through commitment and dedication. So listen to the heart, follow the heart space. This card is pink. And sorry, I'm just going to turn some light on here. Pink energy is one half of the heart chakra. It is the unconditional love, self-care, self-compassion, and self-forgiveness energy. Sorry, I'm just going to turn another light on here. I'm woefully unprepared. It's first thing in the morning, and I'm not a morning person, so forgive me. So I really feel that the heart wants to kind of guide your choices. So, really bring that into the mix. All right. So this deck is already speaking to you pretty wildly. This literally just flew out. So this is the present moment for you. Where are you right now in your transformational journey? What part of you is shifting, rising, or dissolving? And here we have the Knight of Wands. So I really feel like, Libra, you're in a space where you're wanting a reason to have motivation. You're wanting a reason to kind of go big or go home, to get some movement going. You want to feel on purpose. You want to feel that, I want to say, that fire of passion, but you haven't been feeling that. Maybe it's been through exhaustion. Maybe it's been that you've been in a kind of a creative dry spell. Maybe it's that you've had, I want to say, too much 3D world. Too much of the dollars and cents, the dishes and laundry, and not enough of the fun and the fancy free. I feel like this card is indicating to you right now that we understand this is what you want, but you also have to kind of take some steps to be able to do it. And I feel like for you guys, it's really shifting up again, the routine, shifting up what you're doing. Maybe it's evaluating, the people that you're hanging out with. Maybe it's evaluating the types of activities that you're doing to try and rest or recharge. Maybe it's time to try something new. I know for me, I go in phases, and I'm a Libra rising, so I understand, and this reading always, works for me too. I know that I can get, I get very bored easily, but there are also times when I'm just trying to numb out. I'm just trying to download, to decompress. So I go to things that I know. So I'm not having to put a lot of time and effort into it. That's fine every once in a while. But when it becomes the norm, the habit, it dulls your senses. It's like dulling your palate. If you were to eat the same thing every single day, eventually you wouldn't really enjoy anything else, but you also aren't really enjoying what it is that you're eating, right? There's always an exception to the rule, but for the most part, I think a lot of us need a little bit of variety. So this card is coming through to say, switch some things up. Even if you're not feeling passionate about something, throw some caution to the wind, get out there and try something new, break up the monotony, or break up what you can count on. Break that up a little bit and try something new. It could be taking a class or a course to learn something. It could be, going for a walk in a different part of the city just to break things up. But try to do something different. The catalyst, what's fueling or hindering your transformation? And is this resistance or rocket fuel? Interesting. So the Magician is such a great card because it is a card of creativity. It's a card that reminds us that we have the power within us to alchemize, to make happen what we want to happen. Here, what is kind of being shown is that she has created this hybrid plant. So she's got a plant, and the plant has an eye. And there's a beautiful glow around this plant, but it's coming out of a very small, sort of planter box. Well, she put the energy into it. She did the work to, hybridize this plant with the eye or the personality. She, the roots are growing out of the plant as well. So she's making it grow bigger. She's changing the nature of the objects, and she's experimenting, and she's doing it to learn how to make things that she needs, right? Resources that she needs. So when we're talking about the Magician as a catalyst, and we're talking about, your scheduling and shifting things up, I feel like the Magician is coming through to remind you that, again, you have everything within you that you need. So sometimes when we're in this mode where we want this, but we're not there yet, we feel a little stuck, or we're feeling a little numbed out. It's because we've lost connection to our inner power and our inner knowledge or inner knowing. So I feel like the Magician is coming through as rocket fuel to remind you that, hey, try putting two, disparate things together and just see what comes up. It's not about getting things right or making things perfect. It's about the experiment for experimentation's sake. And you don't have to seek outside of yourself for permission to throw, like I like to say, throw a little spaghetti at the wall to see what sticks, right? It's an internal motivator. That's what this is. You're looking for things outside of yourself to motivate you. And, maybe, general reading, take what works for you, leave the rest behind. Maybe some of you are finding motivation outside of you, from external forces. But I'm feeling, Libra, like this is a month where the only way out is through, and the answer that you're waiting for is you. It's coming from you and through you. So not to say that you have to turn inwards necessarily, but I do feel like you want to be understanding the role that you're playing in this, sort of the situation that you find yourself in. So the Magician is really important. It's encouraging you to try some new things, to shift things up, and to experiment for the sake of the experiment and nothing more. And just observe what you observe. Deep root, what deep belief, wound, or soul contract is driving this transformation under the surface? Interesting. Okay. So, Princess of Cups, Page of Cups, is the card of creativity. She's also a student energy, a youthful energy, carrying a message. And because it's the cups energy, it is the realm of the emotion and it's the realm of the psychic. And I feel like, Libra, you've had maybe a little bit of a hit to your psychic pride or a hit to your psychic knowing. Maybe this is you having made a decision and it didn't turn out really well, and now you're not trusting yourself. Maybe this is something that you felt coming on and you didn't do anything about it. And when it happened, you kind of felt badly about it. Maybe you've just been bombarded by psychic energy and feeling like, I don't know what to do with it, so I'm kind of shutting down. I feel like the Princess of Cups is coming through to say, I don't have any expectation of you. I'm here to play. I'm here to invoke some creative expression and flow in your life. I'm here to explore this aspect of us, right? Soul aspect of us. I'm here to explore my emotions, not from the perspective of so that they can take me down, but more so in terms of how do my emotions inform my choices? How do my emotions make me a unique individual? How do my emotions play into my soul path and my soul journey? So the deep root here, I feel, is a little bit of a wound, but also a reminder of the soul contract that you've made with yourself. It's not about the soul contracts with everybody else. I feel like, Libra, this is a month, so far at least, where we are really looking within. We're looking inside of ourselves because there is something that wants to shift. There's something that wants to be seen. It's like the gem or the jewel or the cookie, the reward that has been sitting there waiting for you, but because you're looking in a different direction, you keep missing it. You're not seeing what's right, kind of there for the taking. And so I feel like when we're talking about this, the wound is, value and worth. I don't feel worthy. I don't feel like this is happening, on my behalf. I don't know that I'm actually deserving of this kind of experience. Or I'm so numb to everything that's happened, which means that I haven't really been connecting to how these things are happening for me, for my growth, for my enlightenment, that I'm really in a lower vibrational energy. So Princess of Cups says, let's shift things up. Let's bring that, playful energy to the forefront. And there is no expectation. Let's just have fun. Wow, that's really important. I feel like that's a very significant message for you guys. What's dying away? What part of you is falling away? What role, pattern, or identity has run its course? Interesting. So, oh my God, guys, you can't make this shit up. The Hierophant is about traditions and rituals. It's also about limiting beliefs. And what have I been saying? Shifting up your routine, right? I feel like I don't really need to go much further than this. The Hierophant is coming through to say, yeah, sometimes a ritual and a routine is comforting. Sometimes it's necessary. Sometimes it is the vehicle through which we are able to get through something and on the other side of it. But there, as with everything, there comes a point when ritual and routine can become a hindrance rather than helpful, right? It robs us of the creative flow. It robs us of the spontaneity and the joy of life. I often say with the Hierophant, it's not about wisdom as much as it's about knowledge. And, the Hierophant figure, goes through and uses the taciturn and says the mantras and says the things and uses the smoke and, speaks from, whatever script or scroll is there. And they've done it 1,000 times. And there are 1,000 Hierophants who have done the exact same thing 1,000 times before that. And after a while, you lose the meaning. Why are we doing this? why do we say these things? Why do we do these things? And do they still have an effect? Is it still viable? And that, I feel, is what is kind of dying away for you, is you're asking those questions. You're stepping into this energy a little bit, shifting things up. And now all of a sudden life returns. Now all of a sudden that creative flow opens up and you say, I didn't realize it, but this is what I've been missing. So I really feel like you want to encourage a big shift in your focus, because it's only going to serve to bring you more light. And who doesn't need more light in their life, right? This is your highest phoenix potential. What can rise from the ashes? What is your soul calling you toward? This is your breakthrough energy. Ooh, so we started off with Knight of Wands. King of Wands is where you're headed. This makes a lot of sense. So enthusiasm, confidence, charm, the absolute enjoyment of what you're creating. You know, this often is seen as the entrepreneurial card. So there's a great deal of leadership, authorship, what's the word I'm looking for? Like being in your own agency. And I feel like this is something that you have maybe felt a bit distant from, a bit removed from in the past. And maybe that's why some of this has been occurring. But if we go back to Heart of Devotion, King of Wands is all heart. King of Wands is, very soul-based, soul-driven, that the fires of the soul burn deeply, but it's because of that heart expression. How do I want to show up in the world? How do I want to be of service with others? What kinds of experiences do I want to have? The King of Wands wants to suck every last opportunity, every last drop of opportunity from this lifetime. This is a person who lives big, goes big or goes home. So when we're talking about this highest phoenix potential for you, I feel like stepping into that Knight of Wands energy is going to lead you to that King of Wands space where you feel alive again. You feel that you're on purpose and you feel like you're really making a difference. And not only is it about making a difference, but it's also about feeling the fulfillment and the joy and the excitement in doing so. And that, I feel, Libra, has been missing a little bit in some of the things that you've been doing, whether it's career or your personal relationships or family situations. Again, I get this energy of feeling a bit numbed out, feeling like you're doing things a little more by rote, but you're not really, feeling the effects of, the goodness of it, or you're not asking the why. You just keep doing it without really being connected and committed, right? So this is saying you're reconnecting to your why, and you're reconnecting to the excitement that life can provide, the excitement of bringing something new into the mix, or growing something and nurturing something, continuing to grow something that you've planted. Next step, what's emerging just around the corner? What energy or experience is coming in to support the next phase? Sorry, I'd already turned that over. Oh, Ace of Swords, beautiful. So like an inspired thought, a new way of approaching things, also a real connection to what is true for you. Now, this is going to be tricky for some of you. For some of you, you kind of already know what's true for you, and this is just kind of like a reminder, and you're going to be like, oh yeah, okay, I'm aligned now. I understand what this is. For some of you, this truth is going to be a little hard to process. And I feel like for those of you where this is a little hard to process, it's difficult for you to process simply because the truth is going to be so stark, so direct, so obvious to you that there's a part of you that's going to be like, how did I not see this? How is it that I am just, putting this into perspective now? And I'm going to encourage you in a really big way to not beat yourself up, to not be a deer in headlights for very long, and to recognize that everything is okay. You know what you know when you're supposed to know it. There is a divine timing thing here. But this stark truth doesn't mean that you're behind the eight ball. It doesn't mean that you've missed the memo on your life. And even though you might feel that way a little bit, when you find this out. It's more important that you know now. So what are you going to do with it? That sword of truth, cuts out all the other stuff and leaves you with the heart of the matter. The heart of the matter. So yeah, it might cut you to the heart a little bit. It might cut you to the quick. But that's okay, because that also is going to open things up and really show you the direction that you're wanting to walk in. And that's part of it too, is you have just felt a little directionless. And I know that feeling. Like, I have a clear direction of where I'm going most of the time, but I know that there are gradients within that direction. And it's those gradients that I really want to sink my teeth into, but I don't know what they are. They haven't revealed themselves yet. And so it can be very frustrating to just feel always like, okay, come on, I'm ready for the new, I'm ready for the different, or I'm ready to really open myself up in that way. And it doesn't always come, right? So I feel you. This is you in this process, your role in the shift. How are you navigating this transformation? Are you resisting, flowing, grieving, or boldly rising? Wow, 2 aces in a row. So you're still thinking that you got to plant seeds. And I'm going to say to you, yes, okay, you can plant some seeds, but this is not so much about you planting seeds as much as it's about you recognizing that you've already planted a bunch of seeds. Now, what are you doing to harvest those seeds or to nurture them along? Sometimes we can get caught up in the next, and we forget why we started on the path towards this goal in the first place. Why did I plant this seed? You know, it's one thing to plant a seed and walk away from it and leave it be if you're not planning on experiencing it and the purpose was to plant it. Libras, for you guys, I feel like there have been a lot of seeds that you've planted because you really wanted to have the experience of watching it come to fruition. But maybe you've gotten lost a little bit in the shuffle with that. Maybe it didn't grow the way you thought it was going to grow, or you're still waiting for it to come up and you've kind of given up on it, thinking it's not going to happen. Well, this is the month, I feel, where you're going to start to see the little buds sprouting. You're going to see the little shoot coming out from the ground with the 3 little, leaves. And this is the time to really, it's not about going back. We never want to go back. We always want to move forward. But it's about going back to the seeds that you have planted already and really take a look at what has taken root. These are the things that you want to nourish. I feel like there has been some stuff, and maybe it's the internal stuff, that you have not been necessarily nourishing in the ways that it's been needed. This is the time now to evaluate what needs to be nurtured. I have that saying, grow where you're planted. I feel like this is about not you growing where you're planted. This is about you looking at what you've planted and helping it to grow, nurturing it along. Also, maybe streamlining so that you're not dealing with 17 different seeds, that you're looking at the seeds that are sprouting and go with the ones that you're drawn to the most. Go with the ones that light your fire and float your boat. The other seeds, you can water them, you can keep them going, but if they're not the ones that you're going to nurture, that's okay too. They'll figure themselves out. It's the ones that you choose that are really going to thrive. So how do you want to thrive? What do you want to work on this month? What do you want to see for yourself moving forward? What projects are you giving yourself? I feel like that's what this is all about. Circles of support. Who or what is influencing your transformation right now? And is it a positive or negative influence? Ooh, 5 of Wands. So I feel like you're getting in your own way a little bit. I feel like maybe you're asking people, there may be a little bit of unconscious or self-conscious sabotage going on here. Maybe for the past little while, you've been surrounding yourself with people that keep you at a certain vibrational level. They operate at a level, and so therefore it's easy for you to, just kind of maintain rather than being challenged to kind of rise above or to grow beyond. No judgment here. We all have those moments where we just need a time out. We just need a time to not have to be pushing ourselves, driving ourselves so much. But I feel like this is a month for you to really kind of pay attention to those energies that you are gravitating towards, to those energies that you're using as fuel. I feel that this is a month where those things are going to shift up. This could be in the form of the people that you are connecting to. But again, I also want to point out a lot of this messaging that's coming through for you is really connected to the things that you're doing. What are the things that you're doing that are filling your love cup, right? That are recharging your batteries. This Five of Wands, it's a card of focus and also scattered energy, depending on how you're looking at it. So I feel like this is a month, again, to not scatter your energy, to bring a little more focus to what is transpiring. That is going to be your circle of support, is people, places, and things that give you a sense of focus, but it's new focus. It's streamlined focus. It's focus that has a purpose, not focus on something just for the sake of focusing on it because it keeps you feeling numb, that kind of thing. Lots of shift in that regard. Hopes and fears. What are you or who are you dreaming of becoming, and what scares you about actually doing it? Here we have the Three of Pentacles. So there's a part of you that is afraid to reach out. There's a part of you that's afraid of some collaboration. You're worried about what that's all going to do for you. You're worried that it might not work out. You're worried that you're going to be told no. You're worried that someone's going to, take over your idea or not really be able to give you the things that you need. And I'm feeling here like this is something you want to really understand, that you've got the power to manifest either that experience or the opposite experience, which is when I ask for help, I get my needs met, and the people that I ask for help are joyfully saying yes, and joyfully, in the space and the phase to be able to help out and to give me what it is that I need without a lot of muss and fuss. It's all about intention. And when we talk about the Three of Pentacles, there's also a really deep energy here of it's not perfecting your craft, but it's paying attention to the little details. And I feel like that, in essence, is what is transpiring. You've been numbing yourself out for a little bit. So now it's about just focusing on those things that really matter, one foot in front of the other. And finally, outcome of this transformation. If you stay on course, who will you be on the other side of this journey in February? What is the result of embracing the full death and rebirth cycle? Eight of Wands. Yes. Swift release into something new, being more energized, feeling that energy, feeling that love, seeing where you're headed. That Knight of Wands energy, it's now ignited. And now you've got places to go. Now you've got a focus. Now you've got direction. And it's going to be glorious. Eights are about abundance and mastery. And this is what you have been waiting for. Wow. Okay, Libra. So that is your transformational tarot reading for the month of February. As always, if you need some help in this regard, given anything that's going on for you, click on the link below, book a session with me. Would love to be able to connect and help you out in that way. Otherwise, subscribe, click the bell on the YouTube channel, click the join button, find out how you can become a fabulous Phoenix. Let's keep the conversation going. We can go a little bit deeper every single month. I look forward to connecting with you in that way. Until we see you for another episode of Black Feather Couture, Divining a VIP Life, sending you lots of love and support. We'll see you on the flip side, and transform well.